right.
And then let me pull this up too.
And now when you're done, will you just hand it over to me and you want me to start?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll stop my share and then hand it over to you.
Perfect.
Oh, there's something I forgot to do too, so hang on. I always do. All right, well, it's 5 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us for the Virtual College Exploration for All Ohio Students, sponsored by OACAC and StriveScan. So to our attendees, just as a reminder, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so the panelists can't see or hear you. Make sure that you sign up for additional sessions at www.oacac.org. And as a reminder, this will be recorded and all of our sessions are hosted at www.oacac.org. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to your presenter.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Wilda Knecht. I'm going to share my screen right here. Hopefully everyone can see that. Okay. So like I said, my name is Wilda Knecht. I am an admission counselor from Hanover College. I myself am a Hanover College graduate from the class of 2017. I studied Spanish and biochemistry through our health sciences program, so I can talk to some of you about that today. But if you would like, you can copy down my contact information. I oversee all of Ohio students, so you will be hearing from me throughout the year or years if you're joining us from the junior class or below. So a little bit of background information about Hanover College. We are located in southern Indiana, right alongside the Ohio River. Our nearest town is Madison, Indiana, which is a really historic town. It's also a special place in some of our college history. If you're trying to locate us on a map, we're not going to pop up. Hanover's a very small town, but if you essentially draw a triangle between Louisville, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis, we're right in the middle of that triangle. Our campus is a beautiful 650-acre campus, majority of that being green space and home to several live forests that our biology and natural sciences groups use, as well as hiking trails and waterfalls on campus. And then, of course, the campus itself. We are a small private liberal arts college. We have about 1,071 students on campus. The benefits of a small campus, especially now, given everything that we've been going through, is the fact that you're really connecting with people, smaller class sizes, professors know you by name. It's a little bit easier to get some recognition and to really push yourself and challenge yourself with some more support systems in place. And then as a private institution, we have a lot more autonomy over our funding. And because of this, we're a little bit more selective in our admission process. So for those that are accepted into Hanover, it is seen as an honor to be able to come to our campus and be a future Panther. And then I mentioned earlier, Madison having a crucial role in our history. Hanover College was actually the first private college in Indiana. We were founded by a Presbyterian abolitionist right before the Civil War. And because of our location alongside the Ohio River, the wooded areas that we have and our connections with Madison, the city, we actually played a crucial role in the Underground Railroad system during that time. And we're really proud of that background and trying to bring back that diversity. So the first thing I talk to my students about is the academic adventures that you're going to see in college. One thing that's really unique about Hanover is you truly have the ability to make your education your own. I'll talk to you a little bit about some of our majors and programs, but Hanover's academics, they sit on 3 pillars. The first pillar being integrative learning. This is the idea of a liberal arts education. The integrative learning is saying that we're going to take all of our different disciplines, not just the arts, but all of our different disciplines and integrate them into your pathway. So for example, students interested in one of the sciences, they still do their science courses to prepare them for their next step, whether that's graduate school or going directly into the workforce. But you also take courses in psychology or philosophy, theology, political science, business, any of those sorts, to more well-round out your education. Part of this integrative learning is what leads to some successful experiential opportunities. So Hanover, for a small campus and for a small college in general, we have quite a few experiential opportunities to offer our students. We truly base our curriculum on the learn by doing method, meaning that our students are not just learning from a textbook and then seeing it by observing in an internship. They are actually doing active project-based internships. They themselves are published writers in their fields. And then we have very hands-on labs that are unique to a small campus and an undergraduate campus. So some of the labs that we have that really highlight some of the opportunities for our students would be our human patient simulator lab. We have 2 human patient simulators, which are robots. Their names are Simon and Simone, and they can do anything and everything. They're absolutely incredible. And they work with our health sciences program and our nursing students and our PT and OT students to learn how the body works essentially on a patient that you don't have the risk of damaging. So a little bit of a fail-safe there, but great exposure nonetheless. We also have a full human cadaver lab, which is unique to our campus, but also to the undergraduate campus in general. The difference with our cadaver lab and what you might see in an upper level medical school or other undergraduate campuses that have this lab is that students themselves are actually the ones performing the techniques and what they need to do during that lab. It's not an observation lab. It is a hands-on lab, student-led and by student groups. We also have a lot of students that participate in our independent research opportunities. You have the option to do an independent research if you want. You can also collaborate with a current faculty member that is either in your field of study or just if you have an interesting thesis that you wanted to explore further on. This has led to many of our undergraduate students having the experience to be published rather than trying to fight for their first publication at the graduate level. And then all of this is gearing towards, of course, your career and how you're going to be prepared for your career. We have the Levitt Career Center on campus that works with current seniors and postgraduate student, or well, our graduate students, in preparing them for their next step. Not everybody's next step is straight into the workforce. So sometimes that's preparing for your interviews for graduate programs or your essays and applications and testing that you need. Students that are looking at the work field, they're wanting to get started within their first and second years here, getting that experience, those internships with businesses and organizations. That is all housed with our Levitt Career Center. All of those services are free to our students, and they walk you through each and every step of the way without you having to waste your own energy towards navigating your next step. So again, one of those benefits of a small campus, everybody knows everybody on campus, and it's a little bit of a individualized experience in the Career Center. Academically, the classroom is probably what you might be used to in school already, maybe even a little bit smaller. Our average class size is about 17 students. Some of our intro classes could get up to 20 to 25, but our professors really like to keep it at that 17. And if you come on campus, we do have visits available. If you come on campus, you'll notice our classes are all shaped in a U because we, again, learn by doing, and part of that is discussing our questions and our concerns with our professors. So it's not so much students listening while a professor lectures. It's very two-way communication style. We have a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which means that our students are not only individualized within their programs, but also that faculty member that oversees their academic progress is very focused in on those individual students, and any opportunities coming to that faculty member is more emphasized for you, meaning you'll have more opportunities coming from your faculty advisor. We do have a unique academic calendar. It's called a 4-4-1 calendar. What this means is that we have 4 classes in the fall, 4 classes in the winter, and then we have 1 class in our spring, which is 1 month. We often call it the May term because it's the 1 month of May. Some of the benefits of this is not only do our students get at least a week after each break, after each testing period, they get a week off, but the way that our spring break falls is it's actually after the completion of our 2nd semester. So students aren't going to spring break and they have a project or an investigative research topic looming over them. They have taken their finals, they're done, they can truly enjoy their spring break. And when they return to campus for our May term or our spring term, they only have 1 course to focus on. Another benefit of this is the way that our calendar spreads it out is we actually have 3 full months in the summer off. Compared to maybe some universities that have a half a month of May, a half a month of August. So students looking at internships and jobs, they can guarantee 3 months of work, which often leads to a lot more success for our students in acquiring these positions. We do have 34 majors, and including a design your own major. So earlier I mentioned how at Hanover you can really individualize and create your true educational pathway. And one of the ways you can do that is through the design your own major. We have various students that complete this in all of our fields, whether it's neuroscience to some of the communications and marketing fields, but we have different pathways that aren't distinguished, so we don't have them outlined, and you can combine various departments to create your own major. So you truly are making your own education. But aside from those 34 majors, we do have 6 distinctive programs. The first one is our education department. Our education department is highly successful. We have student teaching that starts within the first year, so you know immediately if this is the career choice for you and you're not wasting 4 years of figuring that out. And then on top of that, we work really hard with our students with where they want to be. So students interested in education might find that different state licensures require different curriculum in their background. And so we work with students starting in their first year what their target state is going to be. So we make sure that when they leave, they not only are licensed, but licensed for the state to which they want to teach, not just for Indiana. We have had very good success with our education department since it began, with 100% of our students going through this program getting placed in the education realm. Communication is also a really popular program on campus. It's our most popular major. It's also the most common to combine with other majors. It goes fantastically with just about anything. It's all about learning to connect with different types of people, whether it's organizations or individuals, different cultures. It's a little bit of everything from marketing and business to poise and speech. So it's a great asset for our students to have in their background. Natural sciences is not really a shocker that it's so popular on Hanover's campus because of our unique location. We literally sit on a natural scientist stream. We have 3 distinct forests that are living biology labs for our campus, both faculty and student research groups. We also have very strong connections with the graduate level and great success placing our students at that level. Of the students that applied in grad school in the recent years, not only did 100% of them get in, but they also got into the graduate level with additional funding, which is very hard to come by. This is in due not just to their opportunities with the labs that they have, but also the connections with our professors. Engineering is one of our fastest growing programs. We have state-of-the-art labs to offer, and we also partner with local businesses to give students hands-on projects rather than just in theory projects to work on. In addition to our labs and business partnerships, the professors from our engineering program actually have collectively, like each one of them, over 30 years in the field themselves and then teaching. So they're not just teaching in theory, they themselves have been in the engineering department. Our last two programs that are the largest, oops, little too early. Our last two programs that are the largest would be our health sciences program. This is what houses our biochemistry, chemistry, biology, pre-nursing, pre-med, pre-anything in the health field. We have some unique opportunities, but the health service or health sciences program actually connects students with a one-on-one academic advisor to help them navigate the health careers. So the fields that they would be working in, the different connections they need to do, preparing for the MCAT or nursing exams or anything to that extent. Also helping them get into their top two choices of graduate school programs. And in addition to these resources, the health sciences program also has a 10-week medical rotation with the local private hospital called King's Daughters Hospital, or KDH. This is unique in the fact that it's modeled off of the residency program that medical students will experience later on in their medical school program. This is not something that's normal at the undergraduate level, and it really gives students a good connection to see what potential fields there are in the medical realm, but also connecting them with physicians, doctors, nurse practitioners, all of which are at the top of their field in these private sector hospitals and individualized practices if that's something they want to go on to. So it gives them early exposure to a residency, quote unquote, so that they're not going through almost all of med school to get that exposure. And then lastly, our business scholars program, one of our oldest programs on campus. This houses our business major and minor. And one of the highlights from this program is that during your junior year, part of the curriculum is to participate in a project-based paid internship in your field of study. So you're not observing anything and just watching it happen during this internship. You are actually on the floor, and anything you produce for that organization, company, nonprofit, whatever it is that you are working for, will carry your name into their productions. The best example I have of this is a student that we had on campus. She was a biochemistry student and also worked within our business scholars program. And she was responsible for working with the team of production on the production line of a contact solution company. And with her biochemical background, she actually helped develop some of the molecular structures for their solution, which is now has her name on it with their solution. So because of all of these opportunities, these connections, and this learned by doing curriculum that we have about 95% of our graduates that take part in these experiential learning opportunities. Some of the experience of being on a small campus is getting out into the larger globe. So we do have a very developed study abroad program. One of the neat things about Hanover is that every student at Hanover has a free semester-long study abroad option included within their tuition. All they have to do is pay for your plane ticket. We have 18 programs for the traditional semester-long study abroad. 13 of them are English speaking, and the other 5 can be language specific. And then if there's one that you wanted to create, you would work with our Office of Study Abroad, and they can pretty much place you anywhere with some of the connections that we've formed over the years. In addition to the traditional semester-long study abroad program, we actually do offer a May term semester. So if you remember our 4-4-1 schedule, students can choose to take that one class for the 1 month, the month of May, and go abroad. The unique thing about this is it's like an extended field trip. So it's a group of Hanover students with a Hanover professor going to another location to study that topic. We do offer domestic and international May term programs, and anything in under that you can imagine would be an opportunity for you. Oftentimes students will get a group together and say, we're very interested in this topic in this location, and they take it to a professor and ask them to create a program for them for the future. So things like that are very possible. When we say point on the map, and if it's possible to go there, we will send you there. We don't have anything on Antarctica, so I apologize for anybody trying to go there, but we pretty much try to send students wherever they are willing or wanting to go. As I mentioned, Hanover College is a small school, but we are a Division III NCAA school. Some of our athletic competitions are highlighted, not so much this year with everything being closed, but we still have found a way to compete within our own scrimmages. But in the last 5 years, we've taken home over 37 different conference championships. We've hosted and appeared in about 15 NCAA Division III national tournaments. And the I guess, award that we're most proud of is in the last 2 years, we have actually been awarded the Commissioner's Cup. And what that means is we have the most amount of wins for the most teams that we have. We have 23 different men and women varsity sports. As a Division III team or school, we don't offer any athletic scholarships for talent, but that doesn't mean we don't have a very demanding program. I don't know if anybody has seen our newly renovated athletic facilities, but we have our new football, track, and field materials out now. They just finished that up, as well as some improvements to our athletic facility indoors and our weight room. On campus, we have about 50% of our students are student athletes. So overall, there's a lot of support, a lot of peer support amongst our students for the athletics. But not only that, our student athletes are also some of our greatest leaders on campus, both academically and socially. So it's a great group to be around. It's great to see them come together for the campus community and to help each other in academics. And then student life and resident life. So as a small institution, we are a residential campus, which means that 96% of our students actually live on campus. So when they're not in class and they're not going to sports practice, we have our students involved in a variety of different clubs and organizations. Basically, we like to say that we're small, but you can do it all. So we have over 70 clubs and organizations. They range in topics from service to academics. We have Greek life, music and performing arts, really just about anything you can imagine. And if we don't have your interest, we really encourage students to start up their own club and teach our community about their hobby. We actually had a student this year that was an avid beekeeper, and we previously did not have an apiary club, but now we do. So before she was even a student on our campus, she was already in contact with an academic advisor to begin this journey, and now we have a beekeeping club. Some of the notable traditions that Hanover has is our nationally acclaimed bingo. I know it sounds silly, but we are very serious about our bingo here at Hanover. So much to the fact that when we went through the closures this spring, our students were a little bummed that they weren't going to have their big bingo bash in the spring. And we were able to move it to a virtual platform and had over 250 students come to our virtual bingo session. They play once a month. It's a great study relief and stress relief. It's a great way to get out, and the prizes are pretty cool. So anything from electronics to dorm room to additional meal food items and bookstore gifts can definitely make your evening a little bit brighter. We also are known for our wiffle ball tournament that occurs in the spring term. So this is a fraternity event that puts on a philanthropy, basically a philanthropy tournament with wiffle ball. So we have about 90 teams that sign up. Some of them are all students, some are students and faculty. Sometimes it's all faculty that play, but they play all through the night, and it's a bunch of fun, and it all raises money for a local philanthropy. And then of course, given our location and our campus beauty, we have miles of hiking and over a dozen waterfalls on campus. So students, families, different groups, even classes are seen using our trails to spend the afternoon, especially with the fall weather that we've had so far. For me, one of the most important things as a student was, where am I going to live and what am I going to eat? So we are very excited to be partnered with Parkhurst Dining. They work very hard with local businesses and independent practices to bring fresh farm to table dining every day to our students. We do have 3 different dining options on campus. The main one, which you see pictured here in the bottom left, is actually our buffet style, all you can eat cafeteria, if you will. And they feature everything from deli sandwiches, open bar salads, to home fresh cooking and all you can eat walk. And then we have our brick oven pasta and pizza as well. And then we also have a Starbucks cafe called the 1827 Cafe downstairs in the main campus center. And then we have a Cordova style grill as well for students looking for either something that they can take away with them or that's a little bit less cafeteria style. It's more grab your food and go and study. And then finally, we have a student-run restaurant on the outskirts of campus. It's completely student-run, managed. Menu and food is all run by them. It's part of our Business Scholars Program, and it's a great way for students to get involved with private practices. As far as our dorm options go, we're actually very excited to announce that we have spent the whole spring and summer renovating our first-year dorm and living options. So our all-male dorm and all-female dorm have been and are currently being completely renovated, which includes air conditioning. We're very excited to offer that. And then the other dorms on campus for first-year options have been renovated inside, but not completely to the extent of the others. Traditionally, freshmen or first-year students will stay in a two-person dorm, traditional style. And then after that, they have a couple of different options based on a point system that we use for academics, behavior, and social involvement. So we have anything available from apartments, suites, to pods, which can house 7 or 8 students. We have townhouses and theme houses. Theme houses can have 11 or 15 students, and they actually are responsible for putting on events throughout the year. And then you also have Greek houses on campus as well. So a couple of different living opportunities. You can be with 2 people, the traditional style, all 4 years, or you can start to add more people to your living situation if you choose. So the admission process, we're still in the middle of one of our priority dates deadlines. So I'll kind of walk you through what that looks like. And if you're a junior or underclassman joining us this evening, these are things to keep in mind for next year, some good dates to keep in mind. Our application is free. It's available on the Common App. So if you're already working on that and you want it to apply to Hanover, just add us to your app. And the only thing we need is the official transcript in your application. We have been test optional since 2017, so going on 4 years now. And most certainly, if you have a resume or an essay already written, you can add those to your application if you choose, but it is not necessary to have test scores or any of those additional materials. We really just need your app and your transcript. We have a couple of different priority deadlines. The first one is our November 1 deadline, which is early decision and early action 1. Early decision candidates have a couple of extra added benefits, such as preference housing and preference course scheduling and orientation deadlines. And the nice thing about early decision is you get your financial aid information at the very first release. Early action 1 and early action 2 are essentially the same thing, but with different deadlines. Early action applicants are still a priority applicant, but they have the additional benefit of being able to compete for our competitive scholarships. As an early action applicant, you can choose to compete for one of our scholarships that could require submitting an essay or something like that, possibly an interview, depending on which one you're applying for. And then, of course, we still have regular decision, which is due by March 1 for any student that's maybe just hearing about Hanover later in the year and doesn't quite get to, that's perfectly fine. March 1st is that deadline for you. So some of the financial aid and scholarship questions you may not have right now, but I'll kind of go over the generalized idea. Every student on campus is awarded a merit scholarship. This is based on your academic abilities, and then also what you've accomplished through maybe a test score, but we also, like I mentioned, we're test optional. So we do substitute this top row out for a curriculum score, which we calculate based on your AP courses or an essay or other options in your application. This scholarship ranges from $15,000 to $25,000 every year and is renewable for 4 years. Once you get it, you just have to maintain your minimum GPA and you'll continue to receive that. I mentioned some competitive scholarships that we have. The first one is the CROW Scholarship, which is for our students who demonstrate a level of academic excellence and also a dedication to community service. This competition is based on an essay. It's worth $2,500 to $5,000. And the neat thing about this competition is it's not a bunch of students competing for one bucket of money. Essentially, each student has a potential to win between $2,500 and $5,000. So you're competing against yourself and not other students, which is great. Another scholarship that I like to point out is the Benjamin Templeton Scholarship Competition. Not only is this a scholarship, but it's actually a program, a four-year program with retreats and a mentorship program, as well as a platform for students interested in social justice and equality issues to continue to fight for that passion and fulfill those dreams. So students don't have to necessarily be involved right now with any sort of program, but if you are looking for an opportunity to continue that fight, we really want to have students like that in our Benjamin Templeton competition. We also have a music scholarship competition. This is for major and non-major music students that are interested in continuing their participation in choir or in a concert band sense. We also have an orchestra. The neat thing about this is you don't have to apply and come on campus for an audition. You can submit a virtual audition, which is just a recording of you practicing or performing even. And then in order to maintain this scholarship, you must complete a course each semester within either the choral or the instrumental programs. But if you're looking to continue your music ability, and even if it's not a part of your major, it's a great opportunity for you to continue playing and get a little financial aid. And then lastly, I really encourage students to come check out campus, not because it's just beautiful and wonderful, and you can come chat with me about your experience that could be at Hanover, but also we have a campus experience award, which is $1,000 every year for 4 years for students that visit either in person or virtually. We have added the virtual platform visits as well, just trying to encourage families to stay safe during this time. One of the unique things for our Ohio students to keep in mind is that while we are in Indiana, we do have a Ohio-specific scholarship called the Buckeye Award. This is awarded to all of our Ohio students who file a FAFSA. It's worth $1,000 every year for 4 years, and it's just because we're recognizing the fact that you're coming to another state for a great education. And I always encourage my students not just to talk to me, but also talk to your guidance counselors. They have great recommendations about community and organization scholarships that can help you with financial aid. And one of the last things that I don't think a lot of families look into very often is the investment that is being put into you as a student. While you're investing quite a bit of time and money and effort into your education, what is the school investing back into you? This is one of my favorite parts about Hanover College. Because we are so community-based, we really do serve our student population. According to some data that was collected by the Department of Education this year, Hanover College was found to be in the top 25% of schools throughout the whole nation that spends the most for their students' emotional and physical well-being, but also the development of social, cultural, and intellectual topics outside of the classroom. What this means is Hanover College is focusing on really the mind, the body, the soul, and also the fun parts about what it is to be an adult and an individual and a citizen. So we do have 24/7 telehealth communication services and 24/7 mental health services available to students and faculty on campus. And then we also have an on-campus clinic and health services for physical visits if that's needed. They can do just about anything unless you're requiring a hospital, in which case we do have connections with our local hospital, which isn't too far off. In addition to that, we have our enrichment series, which helps develop students and faculty and community members on different topics that can relate to social, cultural, intellectual, and sometimes just having a good time. This year included, we've maintained that enrichment series, and we had a hypnotist come in and do a virtual hypnotist session, which I don't quite know how that works, but it went very well. We've had some famous people on our campus before. A little claim to fame, we've had Bill Nye, the science guy, came on campus and talked to us about the importance of our environment and environment safety. And then if anybody's familiar with the Impractical Jokers, we did have Sal Volcano come on campus just to give our students a great laugh and do a skit for us. In addition to this investment, Hanover is also investing in our students by having top-notch professors, opportunities, and outcomes. So 99% of Hanoverians are either fully employed or they're continuing their education within 7 months after graduation. Not only do those that are employed, 96% of them are what's called fully employed, which means that their job requires their degree or higher. We do have students that go into positions that require a higher degree and obtain that degree through their position. And they also have benefits. So your student will leave here not just with a job opportunity in hand, but with the essential resources, skills, and support to continue that success. Part of this is to our internship program, which we have opportunities for students regardless of your major of study, and they start as early as your first year. So you can start getting involved with internships and getting exposed to career opportunities as early as you want to. One of my favorite things is that 94% of our professors on campus actually have what's called a terminal degree. This means that they have the highest degree which is awarded in their field, and in order to maintain that, they have to continue their research and their activity within their field. So it's not a bunch of retired professionals that have nothing better to do with their afternoons these days. These are current and active professors that are maintaining their degree and well recognized within their fields. And then lastly, every student has an academic advisor within their major. Hanover goes a little bit of an extra step for this as well. If you have a specialty that you're trying to complete within your major, I've mentioned neuropsychology before. Not only would you have a psychology professor, but actually our resident neuropsychologist would be your academic advisor to help you navigate that specialty field as well. And then lastly, Hanover does have the 4-year guarantee. So you might have heard of students going for a victory lap or a 5th year, or maybe even a 6th year of their undergraduate studies. That is not the case at Hanover. We guarantee that students will graduate in 4 years, which is a total of 8 semesters, or their tuition for a 5th year is free. Now, in order to fulfill this, students still have to maintain their full-time enrollment and has to be consecutive for 4 years. But if they are finishing up their degree and they've done everything right, and for some reason they need more time, the tuition is free. This speaks to our level of mentorship, counseling, and really the initiative of a liberal arts degree. We really don't anticipate a lot of students needing this because of the exposure and the support that they're given, but in case they need to, we want to make sure that they are completing their schooling successfully. And that is all I have for Hanover College. Again, I'll pop my information up here for you guys. And if you have any questions, you can put those in the Q&A. I don't see any questions there, and I'm not sure, but I'm happy to help out. You can send your questions to me.
Thank you so much for your time with us. So just a few really quick things as we wrap up today. Thank you again for joining us. There will be a quick survey after you close this window. It's 4 questions. Also, make sure that you sign up for additional sessions at www.oacac.org. And this and other sessions have been recorded. So all sessions that are recorded will be available at www.oacac.org. Thank you again, and good night.